Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and today I am very excited to be playing along with Sara Scraps and her sketches ReImagined, and she is doing sketches from Laura Whitaker. So you'll see at the beginning of the video the sketch that I am working with, and I will have Sara's channel linked below, so please make sure you hop over there and check out her take on this sketch as well. So for my layout today, I am going to follow the elements of the sketch pretty closely, but I am going to turn the sketch so that the title, where you see the title in the sketch at the beginning of the video, was at sort of the right side of the layout. I am going to flip it so that the title is actually at the top. So the first thing that I'm doing here is I have all of these 6x6 papers and then some other scraps. These are all from my stash. And I'm also playing along this month with the Baby Gut Scraps hop that is basically happening all month, where we basically are trying to use up 6x6 papers and scraps. And so I had put this kit together and decided to use it for this layout. And so it's all made up of 6x6 paper pads or scraps. And then I have just a white cardstock and a piece of gray, a very light gray cardstock. And that will make up the base of my page. So the first thing that I'm doing here is I'm taking these scraps and I'm just creating the stripes of paper that are in the sketch. There might have been only two, but I add a third one here. So I'm just kind of playing with the placement of where everything's going to go. Now that yellow, which it kind of looks almost like a sun when you kind of turn it on its side like this. I'm using that is going to be where my title placement's going to be, which kind of mirrors what looks like probably a Project Life card or something like that from the sketch. So like I said, I have turned it so that my title is going to be there at the top. Now, all of these papers, I am going to do some distress ink on the edges this is Hickory Smoke, I believe. And so I'm going to use that. And there you see, I've glued all of my pieces together so I can move them as one. And that's going to make up my background. Now, in the sketch, there is also some, I want to say it's probably like a cut file with the circles. And I want it to mirror that, but I didn't want to use a cut file. So one of the things that I am working on using more of this year is my stamps. And so I found this really fun distressed, I don't know if it's supposed to be like paint or what the original stamp is supposed to be, but I loved the distressed lines of this. And so I decided to just use this in place of sort of the circle cut file that's in the sketch. And most of this is going to get covered up, so you're going to only see it stand at the top and bottom of those paper strips. So I didn't have to have it be perfect, and I wasn't looking for perfection. So I went ahead and stamped that 3 times. Now, I don't know where that stamp is from, but I think it was a really old Glitz Design background stamp, but don't quote me on that. And I am using the colored Speckled Egg Distress ink. I use that for the splatters as well as the stamping. So I'm using the oxide for both the splatters as well as the stamping. So there you see, I have now built my background, and I set it off to the side to dry, turned the camera off, and when it was dry, I just came back and added that block of pattern papers with my photo to my background. So now my background is completely built. And I am also, for this layout, pulling out, these were other scraps that were in that kit that I had put together, and I have my punch that is basically just labels. So I went ahead and cut some of those out with some of my pattern paper. And now I've pulled out some stickers. I have some Chamel stickers here. This one here says brave or be brave. And then I have all those labels that I punch. So I'm utilizing my stamps and my labels, which is great. 2 tools that I have a lot of and don't use nearly as much as I should. So basically what you're going to see me doing here is there are 3 clusters in the sketch, and I am just going to build out my placement of where I'm going to put my 3 clusters. So I'm keeping that same element. I'm just moving where they're located. Now, next thing I'm going to do here is, I believe, work on my title. So you're going to see me kind of fiddle with this for a second. And at first, I think that I want to put the word sleep, which is the first part of my title. I'm thinking I want to put it on sort of the curve of this. And it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't look bad. I don't end up leaving it like this, which you'll see here in a second, but you're going to kind of see me play around with where I'm putting this. I am using some Nicole Jones alpha letter stickers there, and so those are what I'm spelling the word sleep. And then I have these Hip Kit stickers that say baby, and they're in a blue, and so I'm going to use those for my title. So my title is Sleep Baby Sleep, and so I'm just going to line these all up. And while I'm doing that, I will tell you a little bit about this photo, because I am going to add some additional stamping here in a second. And some of the stamps, if I remember what they say, we'll see in a second, they kind of would make you go, why are you mentioning, or why are you saying that for a baby sleeping? This is a photo of my son, and we're in the car and we're coming back. When he was young, he had what they would call a lazy eye on one of his eyes. Was what they considered a lazy eye. And so he had to have laser surgery on his eye. And so this was coming home from that surgery. And so when you're on mama and your baby is hurting, or he has to go have a procedure and they have to put him out and you can't be with him, you know, it's hard on both baby and mama. And so this was coming home in the car. And so I am just kind of documenting that. And I'll probably put the story of this on the back of the photo. So the stamps that I'm using are things like remember and doing hard things, and sometimes things are hard, and that's also why the sticker Be Brave is there as well. So it kind of, when you look at the stamps and then you see the stickers that I used and things like that, you'll see my story will go on the back of this page, and so you can kind of put together why I have stamped some of the sentiments that I've put on these little labels. Now, the labels that I'm using are from Nicole Jones, and they have the journaling lines, and so I use those to place my stamping. And so if you want to know what any of those stamps were, you'll see the close-ups of what they say in the pictures at the end, and I can get you the names of those stamps if you are wanting that. Just leave me a comment down below. Now, to finish up the layout, I'm just adding a few of these little puffy hearts, some enamels, and some stickers from a different sticker sheet. I added in my clusters some little chipboard flowers as well as some Chamel clouds. So just a good mix of different collections. I have everything from basic gray, I believe, on this page, to Chamel, to some Dear Lizzie, to some Jen Hatfield, I think are the little yellow flowers. So once I put down these enameled dots, that is pretty much going to do it for this layout. Here are the still photos, and please remember to go and check out Sara's channel and see her take on this sketch. And with that, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.